This video needs a strong warning. We're going to be talking about our mothers and how angry we are at them. This might not be the cup of tea of everybody. So if you are up to spiritual and profound conversation about the female lineage, you are welcome. My name is Blanca Vergara. I'm a coach for more than 20 years. And I was almost demanded by life to do this work of healing the mother wound. I've done it for myself because I was given, I chose a very complex mother. And I've been holding the space for women to reconcile with their feminine, to the past and to the future. I've been doing this in one-on-one settings, small groups, but I never really articulated in a video publicly my process and what I think about it. So today is a big day for me because I want to be sharing with you how I have been doing this for myself and holding the space for others to do it themselves. So if you have the courage, if you're called, if you are really feel resonating with me right now, this is a video for you. Let's be more specific. This video is for women, grown-up women, daughters of difficult mothers, mothers that are critical, mothers that are depressed, mothers that could not love you as you wanted them to love you, and who have been trying a lot of stuff, have been trying therapy, have been trying journaling, have been trying maybe even running away from them, of course, arguing, and are ready for a new approach. This video also is for people looking for an approach that is more spiritual. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a therapist. So if you're looking for something very scientific and devoted from the word God, this is not the place for you. So we're going to be very spiritual here, and it's an integral part of this method that you know the divine is real and you want to let divine guide you and heal you. So that's very important. If you are not awake for this, this might not be for you, right? But if you're resonating with me, it could awaken you a little bit more towards hope, because there is hope. So I tell you a little bit about my story. My mom was a very difficult mom. Bless her heart, she passed some years ago. My dear mom, after she passed, I found papers diagnosing her from different mental illnesses: schizophrenia, bipolar, narcissism. The doctors all disagree with each other. They all didn't know what she had. Everybody had an idea, but nobody had a conclusive idea. For all my life, I knew there was something up with her. For all my life, I didn't want to be like her. Since I didn't want to be like her, what is the only model that there was there? My father. So they divorced because she was the perfect wife, all clean, all very well dressed, all the house beautiful, all the cooking delicious, and he left her. And she remained she stayed at a financial disaster. So I said, I don't want that to happen to me. So I'm on to work. So I became this, the epitome, the picture perfect girl of women to the top, this woman who doesn't need a man, who marries herself, who builds her money and her career, and she doesn't need a man. And she doesn't need to be sweet, and she's intelligent. I was an engineer. So all these things about art that I like, all these things about the spirituality, space for God, no, science, technique, that was the only thing that was important for me. And that idea helped me to run away from her. At 27, so 27 years ago, which is absolutely fantastic. This is a parenthesis. 27 years ago, I left her in Mexico and I came to the Netherlands, and I live in the Netherlands for 27 years. So this is the time for me to tell you this story. I found it fascinating that now I got the question to do this video. So my first step to heal, I was not aware of what's going on, I was absolutely ignorant of what went on or what happened to me in childhood. At 14, I had a near-death experience, but that was like a sweep under the carpet. I was ill at 14. Why it happened and what was the spiritual meaning of that, I was completely ignorant of that 27 years ago. I just left. I ran away as far as I could, and here the beautiful Amsterdam was as far as I could run away. So I ran away. And at the stage, after I ran away, I was shocked that even if my mother was far away, my mother was still active inside my mind. I still was worried of not having the perfect boyfriend, not having the perfect shoes, not cleaning the house perfectly, because my mother would come and criticize me. I had internalized my mother, even if she was kilometers away from me. And I behaved in like a little bit bipolar in the sense of I would behave in the naughtiest possible way, doing the things that she will hate. And at the same time, I will behave in the most uh, aligned way to what she wanted. The kind of clothes that she liked, the kind of food that she liked, the kind of work ethic that she liked, was very much in agreement with that. And at the same time, I broke her rules and I lied and misbehaved and used relationships in the most stupid way. Where did that leave me? To complete and utter dissatisfaction. I was in wrong relationships. I was in a wrong career. Relationships, intimate relationships, and friends relationships. I was absolutely choosing for the wrong experiences. I made of my life an absolute disaster. I was just adrift. This was the moment when everything changed. When I said, could it be possible that I can have agency on what happens with me? Could it be possible that I start blaming my mother for everything that happens in my life? That just changed my life. This is when I started this career of coaching, started this career of reconnecting with the divine feminine, of course, first for me. The moment when you see yourself as an active agent of the beauty of your life, the healing starts. So if you're in this video, you must be somewhere in between. Maybe you have realized how much your mother has affected you and that you are behaving in this semi-bipolar, dual way, doing things that really please her and doing things that she will really definitely be in disagreement. If you're in that world, If you are in this video and you're still in this video, is that you are getting ready to take responsibility. You are ready to heal that. What is what I did first? First, I said, I don't want to live this way. And I had absolutely no idea what the solution was. But I take responsibility of looking for another way. In this moment, God started operating on me. It was magical. It was miraculous. Immediately, I start getting the resources. Quite likely that's the reason why you felt here. Welcome. Immediately, I start getting the books, the retreats, the people, the resources to me. And one of the first things that came to me was the reconnection with divine. The fact, the remembrance that we are small little beings, spiritual beings in this beautiful body that is our vehicle of experience to expanding energy in this human experience. And this expanding energy is precisely to heal those patterns that are from generation after generation handed down, inherited. So now, if you're in this video, you have been called to stop that chain. So I was called to break that chain. And that moment was really like a woo, an eye opening to say, I am here to break that chain. So when I took that moment of agency, curiosity just opened my eyes. I went to the next step that was to research. I just started talking with everybody in the family. Tell me about the past. Did you know that aunt, that uncle, that grandmother, grandfather? Tell me, where were they living, in which house? I major research in all areas of my family. My family is from Mexico, but one of the people in my family was from England. I traveled to Liverpool to see where he could have been, in which boat he was. Part of my family comes from a magical place called Milpalta, where there were some priests, priestess, female priestess, uh, female magical women in the time of the Aztecs. I was just so, looking at understanding intellectually where I was coming from. As you start really superficially, intellectually trying to understand, God touches you in some way, your heart, that you start understanding emotionally and spiritually who all these people were. And then you start understanding the context of why your mother is behaving in whichever way she's behaving. So I understood all the problems and the dramas that my grandmother lived, that her mother lived. There was a war, and there was another war, and there was hunger, and I understood their context. And then in that context was this little baby, was my mom. And of course, my mom inherited all that she lived. Of course, she behaved that way. There was no other possibility. And then when you understand and empathize, you start developing something beautiful that is called first maybe forgiveness, but then later is something like love, compassion, empathy, and you can let go of the drama, let go of the need to behave as a reaction of your mother. You can just release what you have been carrying for years. There are several images that help me release this. One of the things that I did, is, I have a spiritual background that is syncretic because I'm Mexican and I live in the Netherlands. I have a little bit of the beliefs of the Aztecs, a big bit, a little bit of the beliefs of the Catholic Church, and a little bit of the Calvinistic ethos of the Dutch being. So I talk of God as this big, divine, nameless, that lives in every religion. So this is applicable to you. It's my intention that it's applicable to you, no matter which religion you profess. Anyhow, I went to a Catholic retreat and I went to a Catholic church, and I was in this stage of more or less understanding my mother, more or less understanding her context. And I started to develop some level of empathy, even if I was still, and I was a grown up woman, 20 something, I was not yet 30, I was still terrified of her. So I imagined that I was carrying her with all her pain, with all her past, and I just took her to God. I was really just giving her and saying, God, I just cannot deal with this. I cannot deal with her suffering, with her mental illnesses, with her worries, with her trauma. I cannot cope with her fears. I cannot cope with her. God, please, please take care of her. Please take care of her. And I have to admit that he did. God took care of her. Really, it was magical. The last years, the relationship with her improved massively. One of the common things with her is that she will criticize me for any reason. She had some narcissistic tendencies. She needed to be beautiful all the time. And if I was not beautiful and I was extension of her, she was not beautiful. And then she needed to be. We didn't see each other for a couple of years. We met in the airport of Los Angeles. We traveled there, and imagine we didn't see each other for a couple of years. And the first thing she says is, "Your hair looks horrible." But it was after I did this prayer, after I offered her and her suffering to God. So instead of saying, "How dare you to talk to me like that? Don't you realize that you haven't seen me for so long?" I said, "I love you too." And she was really taken aback. "I love you too?" What a way of answering. She started changing her behavior. It was not that her schizophrenia went away or her, fear and anguish and all the wounds that she was carrying went away. It was that I was able to cope with them much better until the end, until she passed. But before she passed, I had peace with the fact that I didn't need to submit to whatever her judgment was, because her judgment was tainted with trauma. And also, I had not only the permission, but the obligation to live a life beyond that trauma. And beyond the trauma, that means that the trauma doesn't go away. The mother wound doesn't go away. I still have that mother. Even now that she passed, I still have her. And still it comes sometimes in my mind that I need to hang the clothes in this way because that's how my mother said it. I need to cook in this way because that's the way my mother did it. But now I can say, how do I want it today? My mother used to shout at my father in this circumstance. Am I going to shout to my husband in these circumstances? It's similar. but how do I choose to behave? My children, teenagers, misbehaving, wanting to be their own person in whatever way. How am I going to behave? So for me, healing the mother wound is not about a weekend retreat in which you are just, by a miraculous intervention of a healer, you are healed. Is a way of living, which is weaving that experience of the past into your own life. It is just like a braid that you weave the old hairs that are there for years, the new baby hairs, your gray hair. You weave the new experiences, the new wisdom with the old pains of your family, and you create something strong and beautiful that is going to be your life. Don't despair when you fall by the old programming and you're not able to think in the moment and you just react. Forgive yourself. Go back. I'm going to give you another image. The first image was taking mom to God. The next image is to imagine that ancestral trauma is like a bag with heavy weight of pebbles. Don't think about a big stone, but pebbles, many of them. So you can take one by one and just see what happens with your life. And just if you start worrying about this pebble, see what happens in your life if you just set down on the table this other one. Let's say for me that I have horrible hair. Well, I have horrible hair. What happens with that? How relevant is that? Another one of the hair, because my mother was really caustic with that. Now I like my hair. But the other one that used to criticize me is that I don't have a waist. And I don't. But now I don't even want to have it. I love not having a waist. It's just so calming and relaxing. I don't have to be an hourglass. I was not born in the 18th century when you really needed to wear a corset. I can let that pebble out of my shoulders and put it here. I don't need to continuously prove to my mother that I am a good person. Another pebble. I'm a good person. I don't know how to make rice. Well, I don't. I don't know how to make rice. I just decide that whenever I make rice, I will enjoy it. I take another pebble. And then you will see, it's like decluttering Mary Kondo style that you take the things and you just put them in a box. You take all these mini wounds, mini traumas, mini pebbles, and just let them rest there and see if you actually need them back or you can release them and let go and not need to carry them. When you stop, when you release all these judgments, you can walk lighter in life and you can be of better service to your children, to the people who see you, because it doesn't matter if you are a mother by having a child, you are a mother just by beaming your light and your love wherever you go. And it is important that you beam that light because that is the way we're changing the future. I certainly hope that this video has been helpful for you. Please comment which point of this touched your heart and in which point you would like me to develop more because there is so much more depth and love that I need to share with you. Let me know. Ask me, ask away. I'm delighted to tell you more because I really want to contribute that more women are deeply beaming from their soul as leaders of love so that we together create a future that is more expansive, more in the oneness. This is going to help men to be in their divine masculine. Can you imagine a society that is actually well rooted and connected to the light? I want that. Let me know, ask me questions, comment. I'm so delighted to continue this journey with you, this journey of expansion. Have a wonderful day.